I'm going to go with that process of elimination because that's worked well with me before. Let's see now. Could it be an apology? The pyramids of Egypt are the most amazing ancient structures ever built. Well, that doesn't seem like an apology to me. That just seems like a statement. So I'm going to knock out one. Is it a cliche? Is it a saying like, Swedish sugar? Well, no, it doesn't seem to be that. So it's either B, it's a generalization, or C, it is vague or unclear. The pyramids of Egypt are the most amazing ancient structures ever built. Well, there's nothing vague or unclear about that. I know exactly where the writer stands, which is the pyramids are absolutely the most amazing structure. That is B. It's a generalization. It's too broad. There might be far more amazing ancient structures, and likely there are. For example, we could argue that the aqueducts of Rome are equally amazing, or Stonehenge in England is far more amazing. I'm sure people would argue that the Colosseum is a phenomenal structure. And of course, the Great Wall of China is an engineering marvel. So I can't say the pyramids of Egypt are the most amazing structures ever built. The statement is too broad. It is too general to enable me to prove it, to do anything with it. And when your topic sentence is so general and so broad, no matter how much proof you provide in that introductory paragraph, you're not going to be able to satisfy your reader. So now what I would like you to do is to pause the program and identify why this introduction is not successful. Choose one of the four possibilities. It's an apology, it's a generalization, it is vague or unclear, or it is a cliche. Then come back. This one is pretty clear-cut. The answer is A. The topic sentence, I didn't really understand the book Frankenstein because it was hard to read, but I'll do the best I can, is clearly an apology. The writer starts off asking us to forgive him or her. So, you're not doing a thorough job. I'm already thinking you're not going to understand this very well. And that puts the writer at a disadvantage. I think that the writer is ill-prepared. I think the writer is unreliable. Don't ever start off. I'm not one to overgeneralize, but don't ever start off with an apology. And try not to end with an apology either, because you're already predisposing your audience to think that you don't know what it is you're talking about. Always, always take the time to craft that topic sentence very carefully, because when you get that topic sentence just right, you'll be able to construct your entire essay around it. It's very similar to the foundation of a house. So let me show you some ways now that you can actually craft that topic sentence. Here are some possibilities. You can do a restatement of the question. You can do a statement of the main idea. You can do an anecdote. You can use humor, a quotation, a question, or you can use facts, such as statistics. You're always going to choose the method that best suits your topic, purpose, and audience. Remember those three guidelines. Now let's take a look at the first one, a restatement of the question. This obviously you can only use if you're given a question. You have to have something specific to answer. On a high-stakes test, you're often given a question to answer in essay form. What you can do is take that question, turn it into a statement. This is especially useful because it helps you make sure that you're going to answer exactly what you have been asked, and you're not going to pick up some topic that your reader doesn't want to know about. Here's an example. You're taking an exam, let's say, in social studies, and the question is, what is meant by the term post-colonialism? You might write something like this. The term post-colonialism has two primary meanings. So what I've done is I've taken that question, what is meant by the term, and I've turned it into a statement that I'm now answering. The term, same word, Post-colonialism, same word, has two primary meanings. First, it refers to former colonies that have regained their political independence, such as India. Second, the term is used to describe new forms of economic and cultural oppression that have succeeded modern colonialism, sometimes called neo-colonialism. Let's start with the first meaning. So, looking back at this paragraph, I've taken the question, turned it into a statement, provided the two answers that I want to provide, and then I've got to transition into the next paragraph. By taking the question and restating it, I've got a focal point that I can refer to over and over again as I write. This helps me stay on track. Now what I would like you to do is to pause the program and identify which technique the writer used in the introduction. Did the writer use a restatement of the question? Did the writer use a statement of the main idea? Did the writer use an anecdote? Perhaps something humorous? Perhaps a quotation? Or maybe a question? Then come back. Well, let's see if we can first find the topic sentence. The topic sentence here is that first sentence. Although all lizards are reptiles and are covered with dry and scaly skin, they can still show striking differences. What is that? That is a statement of the main idea. The writer then goes on to develop the idea in this introductory paragraph through comparison and contrast. The topic sentence fits perfectly because the topic sentence starts off with comparison and contrast. I know that they're all similar because they're all reptiles and they all have dry and scaly skin, but they are all different because they have striking differences. So the topic sentence here is extremely successful because it establishes the method of development for this introductory paragraph. So now what I would like you to do is to pause the program and try it again. Identify which technique the writer used in this introductory paragraph. It's one of these 6. Is it a restatement of the question, a statement of the main idea, an anecdote, humor, quotation, or a question? Then come back. This one's relatively easy because we have a question right there. You can see the question mark. What do we mean when we speak of a born teacher? The sentence ends with a question. Therefore, we know that the writer is developing this whole introductory paragraph by opening with a question. Don't be misled by the quotation marks around the phrase born teacher, by the way. That's not dialogue. That's simply to emphasize those words, born teacher. So I'm not using dialogue. I'm using a question. What I'd like you to do now is to pause the program and restate the following question as the basis for an introduction. In what ways did Hammurabi's rise to power affect ancient Mesopotamia? Then write the rest of the introduction. You may have to do a little bit of research. Then come back. Here's my sample answer. Now, this sample answer, as with all the sample answers I'm going to give you in this program, may vary from yours. But keep in mind that I'm focusing on the topic sentence and specific details. Hammurabi's rise to power had a profound effect on ancient Mesopotamia. So what I've said is profound effect. That's what I'm going to be proving in this paragraph. When Hammurabi became king of Babylonia around 1800 BCE, the empire became rich and powerful in 3 main ways. First, Hammurabi built dams in key parts of the Euphrates River. Second, he attacked the weakened Sumerians, vastly increasing his power. Last but not least, he established this influential code of law. So I've got my topic sentence, and then I provide my 3 main examples. Here's another way that you can do it. You can do a statement of purpose. This method is very similar to restating the question because it is very direct and to the point. As a result, you're going to find you'll be using this method a lot for expository, explanatory essays, emails, news stories, process analysis essays, research reports, and business letters. Process analysis, recall, are how-to essays in which you give directions. Research reports, you know, you're doing research and you're giving your findings, and business letters. Here's a couple of examples. This one is from a job application. Dear Mr. Jones, I am writing in response to your advertisement that appeared online in the Help Wanted section of your website. I just state it straight out. I am writing for this reason. I am writing in response to. And this is very effective because Mr. Jones is very busy and he wants to know from the very beginning, why are you writing him this letter? I would say in 99.9% of the cases, you are going to be using a statement of purpose when you apply for a job. Here's a completely different example. The Mughals had a profound influence on India in the 16th and 17th centuries. This legacy continues to have important implications for India today. The Mughals united the Indian subcontinent under one government. This stability, in turn, increased trade with much of the world. Further, the Mughal leader Akbar passed laws that promoted harmony between the Hindu majority and the Muslim minority. Now, this might not seem very creative to you, but it's a very, very good way to make sure that you answer the question. In this particular instance, this legacy continues to have important implications for India today, focuses me directly on what I've been asked to write about because it is a direct statement of purpose. And you want to do this especially on tests to make sure that you answer the question that you have been asked, because that's what you're being assessed on. So now what I would like you to do is to pause the program and write a topic sentence for a report on how the geology and terrain of a region affected its economic development. You can choose any region that makes you happy at all. Write an introduction that expresses the main idea as a statement of your purpose for writing. You may have to do a little bit of research, then come back.